Hey everybody, Brian Davis here with Danny Davis and Kirk Bowles for a special summertime Longhorn Confidential. And I say special because today is a special day. No, Kirk did not turn 100 and Danny's family did not have another child, but Texas has news that is equally big today. Arch Manning, the prized quarterback recruit in the class of 2023, has announced he is committed to Texas. This is the quarterback that everyone has had their eyes on. This has been national news. His entire recruitment has been national news, quite frankly. And we all knew that it came down to basically three schools: Texas, Georgia, and Alabama. He took his official visits not too long ago, took his official visits to Texas earlier this month. And now today we get the news that Arch Manning is a Longhorn. Kirk, we'll start with you. Your thoughts?
I mean, this is bigger than when Texas won the Texas Bowl. Remember that? That was a high. But Longhorn Nation, throw a parade, throw some confetti. Brace for the hangover tomorrow because you landed a big punch out and showed signs that maybe someday you're going to be able to compete in the SEC. And these are the types of players you got to have if you want to compete at the highest level. And for anybody that says, well, they got so many quarterbacks, you can never have too many quality quarterbacks. So this is a red letter day for Steve Sarkisian because I think it reflects the Manning family's belief in him and his stability and his future at the University of Texas.
Danny, are we going to the CFP?
I don't know if I'm going to say that right now because we still have a little bit of time to go before Arch gets to campus, but this is a win. I mean, this is a huge win for Texas. It's a huge win for Steve. It gives this recruiting class, this 2023 recruiting class, momentum. And if anyone was kind of doubting this team, which there was probably plenty of doubt in this team and this coaching staff after what a disaster 2021 season, the 5-7 year. I mean, I think this kind of gives everyone a little time to take a step back, take a deep breath. It kind of shows what Steve can do on the recruiting trail. I mean, he has momentum coming off last season with what he signed in this 2022 class and getting Quinn Ewers to transfer over. And, it gives this Texas team, I guess, a sense of direction and people can kind of see where this train is going. So obviously you're never going to complain on a day like today. This is a win all around. And I think after a rough start with that 2021 season, I think people had to be pretty pleased with the way that Steve Sarkisian is taking this program. We still have to see if that translates into wins, but there's no complaints if you're a Texas fan today.
Right. It's worth I went on 24/7's website and I looked at this because I want to sort of mentally bookmark where things are today. Texas now has 8 members of the class of 2023, 1 5-star player, Arch Manning, 5 4-star players, and some 3 stars, but the class overall is 19th in the country. And obviously that's going to rise as the season goes on and they get more players. But Kirk, the one thing that I think is really fascinating to me has been fascinating to me during this whole pursuit of Arch Manning is the fact that Steve essentially bet on one horse, right? He didn't make a bunch of blanket offers to like 5 guys that he'd like to have. No, he made one offer to one player and went all in on that one player. What do you think that says about Sark's mental makeup, his mentality, and his approach to recruiting?
Well, it was a gamble. He's taking a risk when he does that because I think pretty much everybody wants one quarterback, one quality quarterback in every class. And he's got 3 good ones on campus. But the fact that he thought put all his eggs in this one basket shows that he has confidence and he knows what he's selling. And I think he knew early on that the Manning family was very interested. I mean, the fact that they've gone this long in the Arch Manning sweepstakes with Georgia and Alabama. Let's see, didn't Georgia and Alabama did pretty well last year, if I remember. They're the 2 finalists in the CFP, and here's a 5-7 team. So I think that gave him a lot of faith, a lot of confidence, and he already had a good class. I'm not saying he's working with house money because Hudson Card is 1-1 as a starter. Quinn Ewers is yet to throw a pass in college, but I think that's faith in himself, and I applaud him for that.
I will say, I do think that Steve had a little bit of wiggle room. I mean, he could afford to go all in on Arch Manning because if you miss you still have Quinn Ewers on your team until at least, the 2024 season. Malik
Right.
Murphy, you have a lot of faith in what he can do. And this is also the transfer portal era. I mean, if things don't work out, you can just hit the transfer portal and find yourself a good quarterback. So, it wasn't the hugest risk in my opinion, but obviously that was the guy he wanted in this 2023 class. You focus on him, you get him, and now you can build and you don't have to worry about the quarterback position for a couple of years. But obviously that's a good, having Quinn Ewers, Malik Murphy, Arch Manning, Hudson Card, if he sticks around for a couple more years, and that's going to be fun. Just watching those practices, the 10 minutes that they let us see a couple times a week during the summer. That's going to be fun, just watching those guys sling it around.
And I think that's a great point Danny makes, is that this is the transfer portal era. The jokes have already started rolling in. Okay, who's already in the portal now? I think it's naive to think that all three of these guys are going to hang around. However, it should be noted that Steve Sarkisian was at the quarterback controls when Alabama had 3 top flight quarterbacks and won the national title. And I promise you, that's the story that he sells out on the recruiting trail, is to make it work with Tua and those guys.
And you're right. He can sell. Look, Mac Jones waited his turn. He waited around for 1 season. Yeah, he did pretty darn good. Became a first-round draft pick, the New England Patriots, and took him to the CFP and won it, and almost won the Heisman, if not for Devontae Smith. So, yeah, I agree with that. The other thing with Quinn Ewers is that he's already had his transfer once where he's immediately eligible. He would not have that again. The way the rules are stated right now, he would have to sit out a year or at least petition to get that immediate eligibility again. So you're right. And like you said, Danny, the portal just changes everything. You can pick up somebody, during your lunch hour or even while you're sleeping sometimes. So it's just a different world in college athletics. So who do you like? Do you think this is going to open the floodgates, both of you, for recruiting? And they're 19th in the nation in 24/7 now, and come December they're going to be top 5 again. You think?
I think it'd be hard to imagine that when you have the number 1 recruit in the nation and a top flight quarterback like Arch, you're not going to finish in the top 5. I mean, they're 19 because they had 8 commits. It's not because of the talent that they have. When they start stacking some more commits, that number will raise, and Arch is going to be your number 1 recruiter now. And I'm sure there's some receivers. I'm sure there's some offensive players. There's going to be, I'm sure he's friends with a lot of recruits. They're going to look at this and be like, all right, I was already kind of looking at Texas. I like what Texas has to offer. Now I know the quarterback situation is settled, so let's sign up. So I expect that number to go quite higher.
Yeah, did he bring Will Randall, the tight end, or did Will bring Arch Mannings, the 3-star tight end teammate?
It depends on who's carrying whose bags on freshman check-in orientation day. We'll find that out. But both you guys are right. I do think that Arch Manning becomes the Pied Piper of sorts for a future recruiting class and a future. And I think it just simply cannot be overstated how every coach needs a kind of a breakthrough moment, a breakthrough recruiting moment. Charlie had that with Malik Jefferson for sure. Tom had that with who would you say was Tom's breakthrough recruit? Because Sam was coming no matter what. Sam was already committed to the program at the time when the coaching changed, so Sam was coming.
It was a 2018 class with Anthony Cook and Jalen Green, just that whole group in aggregate that was ranked so highly.
That's true. But this is obviously Sark's moment. It's Ewers and then getting Manning on top of that. This is a huge moment. Obviously, as both of you know and have written many times, oral commitments are non-binding. The first date a player could sign a letter of intent is December 15th. But I do think that given Arch Manning's family and given his sort of status, I think it would take a 0-12 type of season disaster in my mind for Texas not to get his signature on a dotted line at this point. I just think that they have factored all that in. If there was a struggling season, I think they'd already factored that in. A lot of Texas fans don't think that's going to happen, though.
That's not possible.
Say that again?
Go winless isn't possible, isn't it? They can't do that. Go in 12. So, but you know what? You said even with these recruits they're presumably going to get, the biggest signees since Chris Sims and Vince Young going back to 02, because that started a run for Mac Brown that was the golden era of the modern era of college football for Texas, because they had, what was it? I think it was 10, it was either 9 or 10 straight seasons of at least 10 wins. They won 13 twice. They won 12 once. They played in a couple of national championship games, should have played another one in 08, but the Michael Crabtree intervened. So that, and we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. I know people go, oh, it's one guy, and it is, but considering what they've been through, 4 losing seasons in 8 years, I would allow Longhorn Nation to gloat a little bit, to feel good a little bit about the future, and that maybe this is kind of the signal, the turning point, maybe.
Absolutely. Danny, final thoughts?
I'd appreciate it if there were no more huge 5-star commitments, or I'm about to go on a vacation. I'd like a little bit of time off, but we appreciate Arch keeping us on our toes today and getting us a lot of content to write about over at hookem.com.
Absolutely. Texas just finished up a big athletic year, winning its 2nd straight Directors Cup. Softball made it to the finals of the Women's World Series. Men's team struggled, but struggled at the World Series, but that shouldn't take away from a really good season for David Pierce and company. Again, 4 national championships, 6 top 2 finishes for Texas overall, and they cap their summer. Everyone goes into their summer holiday break in July with an Arch Manning commitment. And so we wanted to keep this one short, but we wanted to get a little something up for the fans today. Longhorn Confidential will definitely be back next season, but we'll all be at Big 12 Media Day, which is coming up in the middle of July. Boys, it'll be here before you know it. Are you pumped about it? Are you pumped about Big 12 Media Day?
Super. I'm counting the days. Vacation first. The beach and the mountains beckon.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate everybody reading. Remember, keep going to hookem.com for all the latest and greatest content. We appreciate everybody. Thanks.
See you.